Hi, this is Santa Rose, and I'm going to go over here in the beginning of April, the start of the second quarter of 2024, my planning system and what I'm doing in 2024. I've actually started using the system in December of 23, so I could have like a month of trying it out and adjusting before the beginning of the year. And as I've gone through the year, there's been a few other adjustments that I've made, but I'm very happy with this. And this approach to planning is really different. In fact, I have not heard anyone else using this technique that I'm using. So I think it's like my technique, only I'm admitting what I'm doing is heavily influenced by other people. So I'm using a word of the year, which that's not that unusual. But I've written a theme of the year, which is the definition of the word and how I'm applying it. So my word of the year is sovereignty, self-governance informed by intuitive reflection, prioritizing wellness and stability with secure boundaries. This book here is an N1 horizontal compact by Sterling Ink. It has the gilded edges, which it comes in white edges if you don't like the gilded. And I'm using this only as a productivity tracker. So it has the horizontal weeks in it. I write a little bit every day about my productivity. And at the end of the week, I write my weekly review on this side. Let me show you a blank page. The blank page here just shows a stacked week and then a blank page on this side. And the front of it has obviously the word of the year that I just showed you, but it also has my review questions for each of the weeks. So I'm going to show you and talk to you about what my review questions are. The first question is, what am I proud of? And it's a little bit of an abbreviation. It's what happened this week or what did I do this week that I'm proud of? The second question is, what obstacles to productivity were present this week? The third one is the comment on my priorities. And I will talk about priorities when I'm done reading this. The fourth one is positives and concerns regarding stability and boundaries. Well, remember that stability and boundaries are part of my theme of the year. And the last question is next week. So at the beginning of each quarter, I write what my priorities are for that quarter. And then each month, I'm writing a review of my productivity. This is my productivity review book. I have a separate book down here that I use for wellness, but for this one is productivity. I have not done my March review yet, but I have all of my statistics about my productivity, and I'm just tracking different numbers on here about how many hours I spent working on projects, how many hours did I spend reading nonfiction, how many hours did I spend in client contact versus how many hours of clients were scheduled that day. And I'm tracking this to see if I'm being productive. Now, eventually, across the top here, I'm going to put what my income was each month so that I can kind of track the ebb and flow, because in my business, there is times of the year where the income is much lower than other times of the year. And I think it's helpful for me to look back over the course of the whole year and compare it, but also in the future to be able to go back and say, well, last year on this month, this was my income, and now this year it's this. So that's how I'm tracking it. And here I am at the beginning of the next quarter. I already have my list here of priorities, and I've already started my statistics of how many hours I'm spending on things. And in the monthlies, I am recording some monthly tasks that need to be done. Here, a little bit of tracking. I have a little tracker down here. And my intention is that when I put out videos or blog posts, that I will put the full titles down here or over here, but I will mark on the calendar when I actually put them up for publication. So far, there's been none this month, but maybe this will get published. Then I go into the weeklies and I record a little bit each day. And then this is where I'll do my weekly review. The back of it is intuitive reflections. And so I am taking either an aspect of the theme of the year and writing about my deeper views about that theme, or I'm taking an oracle card that I've pulled and talking about how that oracle card could represent an area of growth that I could pursue in my personal life or my business. And I'm also taking affirmations about what I want to bring into my life and maybe writing in a little bit more detail what I'm doing. And so I'm using a 2-page spread per week of intuitive reflections. And that's all this is going to be for. Week 14, I haven't written, which is the week that we're in now. So I will have a 2-page spread on how I'm going to, actually, I just pulled some oracle cards. So I'm going to use the oracle cards for one of them for the 2-page spread. That is how I'm using this. There's enough pages in the back for me to have a 2-page spread per week on the intuitive reflections. And then I have a weekly review each week answering my review questions. That is my productivity book. Now, this is a review book. This is where I put the weekly reviews and where I list my priorities and where I do some tracking after the fact. I have a different system for how I plan my time. But before I move to that, I want to briefly go over my wellness tracker, which is in a beautiful Lauren Phelps cover. It is a week's size by Sterling Ink. So it's an N2 compact horizontal weekly by Sterling Ink. And I have a similar system in here in that I have the word and theme of the year. These are some cards that I got from Coco Daisy. I'll be showing you about Coco Daisy in a minute. I have some quotes and I have a Lauren Phelps sticker here. And then I have the weekly reflections for wellness, which is different than my weekly reflections for productivity. The questions I ask, by the way, the word of the year and theme of the year is identically the same in both books, but the questions are a little bit different. First question is to rate each wellness category, how I'm doing in those areas. Then the next question is, what have I done for my wellness this week that I'm proud of? Then I'm journaling in the back, a 2-page spread of journaling in the back, in which I'm reviewing positives and concerns regarding stability, boundaries, and the 5 areas of wellness. And then I take the review, the 2-page review. This is what a 2-page review looks like. I don't always fill completely the 2 pages. And I summarize what I've written here on my weekly reviews. And let me show you what that looks like. So here is a daily review of how well I've taken care of my wellness that day. This is where I write my weekly review. Up here in the top, I'm doing the rating on how I'm doing in each of these areas. And I'm using 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4 or 5-star rating on how well I'm doing in those areas. The 5 areas of wellness that this covers is physical wellness, spiritual wellness, which is very, very important to me. Emotional wellness. Remember, I'm a psychotherapist, so my emotional wellness is also really important to me. Financial wellness, which shows up mostly on how I'm doing with not overspending and keeping to my budget. And the 5th area is home care, which keeping my home up and maintaining it and keeping up with my household tasks that need to be done to take care of my home affects how I feel physically. It also affects me emotionally. And so I consider it an act of emotional wellness for me to care for my home. In the beginning pages of this, I have some um, collections, I think you'd call it. The first one is, when is the last time in different things that I might have done, like when's the last time I had my teeth cleaned? And this one over here is, where can I find? Because frankly, the older I get, the more forgetful I am. Like, where is let me think of an example, my mandolin to chop vegetables? You know, I happen to have just recently moved it, and I recorded where I moved it in here because I moved it next to um, my knife block, because it's, to me, it's cutting. It's similar to the, pulling out a knife, only it's more convenient. This page is what Catherine of Sterling Ink uses as a goal page. In the first column, I have one of Sterling Ink stickers because I don't need the first column. But each of these rows that she uses for her goals are different time frames. So there is a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, half year, once a year, and then she has another category right here called someday. So the top section of this I'm using as my household care routine. What are the household tasks that I do daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, etc. And then I've actually written in here what month my quarterly things happen on, my twice a year things, what I'm doing and what months I'm doing those. And so it's all well thought out. And if I ever need to review it, it's here. If I ever need to change it, this is also a good place for me to reference. The bottom part here is the same pattern of daily, weekly, monthly, and so forth for taking care of my finances, what I need to do in each of these time frames to take care of that. So while I don't use this for goal setting, I'm loving it for recording my routines. Then I have the quarterly section. So I have up here at the top my priorities for wellness. Then I have a review for each month, and I actually did get March's done, or at least, no, actually I didn't get March's done. Looks like I didn't get February done either. So I still need to go back and take care of that. These statistics over here for wellness are symptom trackers. And up in the very top over here, there is some information about like my A1C results and so forth that, are done periodically throughout the year. And that helps me to track my symptoms. And I'm also tracking my exercise in here as well. And when I go see the doctor and they ask me, well, how's your pain levels been? I actually have statistics that I can refer to. Frankly, my doctor looks at the list of statistics when I went to see him, and his eyes crossed. He said, I don't know how you make heads or tails out of that. And I went, actually, it's really easy. It's a 5-point scale, or 0 to 4 scale. And if it's 4, it was excruciatingly bad pain. Of course, he uses a 10-point scale. So it was confusing to him, but I don't like the 10-point scale. I like the 5-point scale, called a Likert scale. And that's what I prefer. After all the quarterlies, I move into the monthlies, and I make a list of the tasks that are not everyday cleaning tasks, but tasks that are once a month, once a quarter, and twice a year tasks for home care. And then I use the bottom of this to mark different habits that I want to get done. And I have a list of movies that I would like to watch. Oh no, actually, I take that back. This is books that I want to read. I sometimes write movies that I want to watch in here, but I didn't for this particular month. Yeah. No, I take that back. Movies are down here and books are here. Unedited, so you can see what it's like to talk to me directly. And then I have a daily review of how well I took care of wellness, and a monthly or weekly review, which is those weekly questions. And my journaling in the back is part of the review process. that I mentioned, the review questions where I journal about each of these different areas of my life and then I summarize it on the weekly. And that's the only journaling I do in here. It's just a 2-page spread per week. And that's because it's a compact. That's all there's room for. I do have a list in the very, very back of the books that I have read. So I'm up to 8 books. I'm currently reading the 9th book for the year, and considering that we're in April, I think I'm doing pretty good. I also have a list of did not finish books here, which I think is helpful to notice books that I clearly did not mesh with and just write it down. That again, this is just, I do set priorities in here. And when I do say next week, it's listing kind of what I want to get done the next week. Every time I do a review and I make that list of what's important for the next week, I take that information and I transfer it over to the weekly page of my Coca Daisy insert. So over here, I write, I have a sticker up here that says this week. And I made the list of all the stuff that I said I really wanted to get done this week in those weekly reviews. And then this tracker over here is what colors I'm going to wear each day. Today, I'm filming this on Sunday. It's yellow day, and I'm wearing my yellow and wearing my yellow bracelet. Tomorrow, I'll wear green. So that's how I do it. And then down below here, I have menu planning. Now, my menu planning is a little different than others. I list all of the things I have available to eat or to prepare. And I just added a whole bunch up here because I just got groceries. So I wanted to have them here so I could decide how I wanted to rewrite them on the next week. But I cross off as I need them. And I've using the stacked weekly over here to record what exercise I did, which honestly says did not exercise today on most of the pages. It's an area that I need to work on. And I write an affirmation related to exercise each day. And that's how I'm using the weekly pages in the Cocoa Daisy. But let me turn to the front of this Cocoa Daisy notebook and kind of show it off a little bit to you. They come in different sizes. This is the largest size, which is an A5. And all of the pages, every single page inside is decorated already. It is made from recycled paper, and the ink is recycled ink. And one of the best parts of this for me, in addition to the fact that every page is already decorated already, when I get it, I add some stickers, but it's decorated. It's actually made about an hour away from where I live. It's a Michigan company. The booklet itself is manufactured right here in Michigan. So it's American made. And all of her paper products are made here in Michigan. When Cocoa Daisy sells stickers, and she does sell a lot of stickers, I'm not using her stickers, but she sells a lot of stickers. They're made in Canada. And there's nothing wrong with her stickers. It's just that I really prefer to use icon stickers rather than decorative stickers. So I bought stickers from Orange Umbrella Co. And I believe, though I'm not positive, that they're also American made, but they're not made here in Michigan. I just like Orange Umbrella Co. Icon stickers. I do have some stickers from another company called Sticker My Journal in here. And I found her on Etsy. So I have a wide variety of stickers that I'm using, but I don't decorate this. The icon stickers they're pretty, but they're mostly functional. They're just to identify things that I need to get done or to use as a tracker. This calendar is a Sunday start, but the weeklies inside are all Monday starts, and that doesn't bother me. I only use this to mark somebody who comes and does household stuff for me. And I record when she's scheduled to come and if she did come and how much I need to pay her by the end of the week. And then I have the new moon and the full moon marked on here because I like to write prayerful affirmations for the new moon and the full moon. And I have the cleaning zone, which is a cleaning process that I do where I clean a zone in my house deeply once a month. And the 6 zones cycle through. So it's like the equivalent of a spring and fall deep clean, only I'm doing deep cleaning every month. I'm just not doing the whole house ever at once. Starts with 5 of these 2-page weeklies. Let me show you a blank one, which is actually I have not yet filled in next week's at all. This is a sticker that I have added. This is the sticker I added, and so is this. These dates here I have added. They don't come dated, and I've added the dates. And normally this is just a blank page, and I write all over it. I just completely fill it in, just like I filled this in with my exercise and my affirmations. After the 5 weeklies, you then have 32 daily pages available. And I use the first 2 as a place for me to record. It says goals, but it's the things I want to get done this month. So over on this side, I have the cleaning tasks that I just rewrote from my planner onto here. So I can just mark it off here as I do things and then transfer the information at the end of the month. And on this side, I have some tasks that I want to get done related to my business that are not seeing clients. I don't record client stuff in here at all, other than if I have appointments with clients. So I have checklists and so forth to track things and when I get things done. Then I have quality leisure here, audiobooks that I want to listen to, books that I want to read, and down here in the bottom, movies that I want to watch. And that's how I'm using this page. And the stickers I have on here are from a wide variety of different places, and I can't remember where all of them come from. I remember a few things, like this one here came from Orange Umbrella Co. And so did this. And this little mop thingy here came from her. But I honestly don't remember the other ones, where I got them from. The April goals thing, I think, it came from an Etsy shop, but I can't remember which one. Then I start the daily pages. And how I do the daily pages, let me turn to an empty daily page. I'll turn to the middle here. When at the beginning of the month, I create a daily page for each day, and I write in the date, the day of the week, and then I put some icon stickers for the things that I want to do for housework according to my routine and my schedule. Then I have a list of work hours that I'm doing, like this is an hour of work, then there's a break, another hour of work and a break. I just don't record what I'm doing on the break on here. I'm just putting what I'm going to do for these hours of work. And the same over on this side, it's 1 per day. And at the beginning of every day, I script using Jenny, I can't remember her last name all of a sudden. Jenny from Planner Perfect. I use the scripting method, and I script out my day at the beginning of the day down in the bottom. And I do it in pencil because as I'm doing it, I realize, whoops, and I have to erase and rewrite it. And I do that at the beginning of the day. And sometimes I make notes at the end of the day down below. Other times I'm making notes already in how I handled my productivity, my wellness in my trackers. Remember these trackers here? So I don't always record those kind of details here, but if something major happened that day that I want to remember, I would either write it in the productivity review, which is probably what I would do, or I would just make note of it in here. And I check off things as I get them done, and my priority items that I have listed here, if I get those done, I mark them off. If I didn't get them done, I write them on the next day. And I'm having a fuzzy hair day. I do that for the whole month. And as we move into future days, I currently have my schedule written for the week ahead, but moving into next week, like for example, next weekend, I don't have my schedule on here yet because that's a few days out. But what happens on these different hours, if it's a client appointment, and since this is Saturday and Sunday, a lot of those spots are going to be client appointments. I just write that I'm seeing a client. So it would say either G for I'm seeing one of my mental health clients for Great Lakes Psychology Group. So I just write G client, or I write B client if it's one of my spiritual clients that I see through Blooming Life, which is the name of my business, Blooming Life Guide. And but I don't write the names. I just write that I have a client appointment. I don't need the names in here because it's confidential. And I don't write the names of clients in any of my notes anyway. That's all kept in electronic medical record. I love this system. Love this system. And I love how beautifully decorated all of the pages are. Just gorgeous. All of the pages, all the way through. And they're all different. It's just such a beautiful planner. And my little icon stickers are added, which are a little bit of whimsy, but they are, and I'm the one who's adding the times. It's just a blank page, a blank canvas for me to write on. I write the times across this way because I like to have the whole space for the scripting down below. Isn't that pretty? It's just such a beautiful planner, and every month is a different theme. So I have a couple previous months here that I can show you. Last month was a Western theme. And let's see if I can turn to, I didn't do as much scripting last month as I did this month. So not every day has scripting on it, but every page is decorated, and it's kind of decorated in a Western theme. And in fact, there's a lot of pages that were not very well filled out this month because I was really sick. But they're so beautiful. The decorations in here is just gorgeous. I love it. Look, it's a shame I was sick these days. I hardly use this page, and it's such a beautiful page. And this is the way it is with all of them. Now, here is my monthly list. So it has this beautiful decorations on it. It's just gorgeous. I love them. And the weekly stacks, each of these are the same for the week, but each of these weekly second pages are different. So this is different on this page than the other pages. They all have a different appearance to them. And this one had this really large image down here, and I didn't want to write on it, so I crowded everything up on top. It's just, I love Cocoa Daisy, and there's not expensive compared to what I was paying when I was buying stickers. So I have one more to show you, which is really deep down on my book, and this is February's. And so this was a red and pink theme, and it was Alice in Wonderland. And I had a lot more. I actually added some extra stickers from Cocoa Daisy this month, but I decided I didn't care for the stickers. And I also was using a different structure this month than I am using now, where I put all my cleaning stuff inside this box and list of other things I wanted to do here. And that just didn't work for me. Well, I had to sneeze. So I don't edit, but I can pause the recording. Now I have some other books that I use almost every day, and I'm just going to show you this one first because it's another Sterling ink book. It is in the quartz color. It also has the gilded edges. This is a B6 notebook, and it just has the beautiful paper and nothing else in it. And this is my journal. And I have this pencil board is from Amazon. I do have some beautiful pencil boards that I bought from Lauren Phelps that I used in my other ones. I just didn't show them to you, but I do like to use pencil boards. And again, this is just journaling. So this is where I left off, and there's nothing terribly personal on here. but there are lots of times I write very personal. Lots of times I'm writing very personal things in here. I actually was using a different journal and I didn't like it. And so starting April 1st, I switched into this one and I love it. It will last me probably more than 1 year because I don't write in it every day. Although I would like to write in it every day. Frankly, I don't have the energy to write in it every day because I have other things that I write in. So I have these 3 weekly calendars that are horizontal weeklies that I got from Amazon. I'll show you some pages. They're also decorated inside. Every page is decorated. As you see the theme here, I love color, but I don't want to buy the stickers. I don't like writing in these bound books with stickers in them. And so I stopped using a bound book for my planner and I started getting the Coco Daisy subscription. I get a new book from her every month and I love them. But I buy these to use from Amazon and they're gorgeous. What I do in this one is I write something I did, this particular one, which is Birds of a Feather. The artist's name is Janine Vlatkus. And again, the company who puts these out are called Amber Lotus. I'll turn it around so you can see the Amber Lotus and the author name on there. And it's very decorated. It's really gorgeous inside. And even on the second page here, there's even decorations down here too. And what I do is each day I write what I got done that day that was not seeing clients, but was something for my business. And if all I did that day was see clients, then I might write, all I did today was see clients. But I usually try to make sure that I am moving some other project ahead and doing something particularly because I really want to be writing more. I'll put down what I wrote and where I left off. And most importantly, when it's writing related, especially, I write what is next. That has made such a difference to keep this book. And again, it's already dated so that if I'm missing a day, I actually see that I missed a day. And I'll either think back on what I did or it will remind me that I need to be more diligent about writing what I have done each day. And I call this one my project book. And it lives on my desk. And next to my comfy chair in the magazine rack there, I have these two, also by Amber Lotus, but they're by different companies or different artists, excuse me. The company's Amber Lotus for both of them. This is a Katie Daisy, which I have been buying a Katie Daisy one every year. Some of the art is used again. She does repeat herself, but it's just so beautiful. It is such gorgeous art. And it's all over, even more so, it's over the pages on the Katie Daisy. In the past, this used to be my only calendar when I had a paycheck job that I was at 10 hours a day. I had a planner in there and I just used this for keeping track of appointments. But I mean, talk about gorgeous. It's just so beautiful. And this, to some extent, it's a little seasonal. It's not perfectly seasonal, but it's pretty close. November is very seasonal, but it's not always. And I love using this book. And what I'm doing in it is each day I am doing my morning prayers. And at the end of my morning prayers, I'm writing a prayerful affirmation. And I'm writing the same one each day between the full moon and the new moon, and a different one each day between the new moon and the full moon. And what I mean by prayerful affirmations is they are affirmations, but they're written in a prayerful language. So, for example, dear God, I'm grateful your loving light shines through me and fuels my creativity and healing work. Thank you for increasing my focus on the positive spiritual forces at work constantly. That's an example of one that I was using in March. And here I am in April, and I'm grateful The blocks to attracting new clients is illuminated, cleared, and released. Thank you for clearing any blocks to forming an alliance with clients to motivate their healing work and lighten their burdens. And then this current one that I'm doing, I started on Friday, is as I change it 3 days before the new moon or 3 days before the full moon. Dear God, thank you for illuminating the path to better manage my empathetic gifts and the path to strengthen my self-image I project to the world. I'm grateful for the increased strength to persevere as a spiritual teacher. And that's my morning one. And I write it down each day, the same one, until it's time to switch. And then I say the affirmation aloud 3 times. And I don't know if you can see, but I have like these little circles and I put 3 of them in there and I check them off as I say it aloud 3 times. And whenever there's these beautiful images, I just write around them. It's so gorgeous. Here I wrote around it. And I thoroughly love this. And part of this is that when I've written in this, it means that I did my morning prayers. So I have a whole spiritual practice that I do before this. And writing this means that I did that spiritual practice. So it is a form of tracking, but it's also a beautiful way for me to write out my prayers, what I'm asking for. And then because I do morning prayers and evening prayers, I adopted this book, which was originally for a different purpose, to recording my evening prayers. Originally, this book was meant to be where I tracked my exercise. And I just wasn't very good at doing that because, frankly, I have not been exercising frequently enough, nowhere near what I think I really need to be doing. I'm really struggling with that because I have really bad arthritis. And then for the whole month of March, I was sick with my asthma and with bronchitis. And I even got a little pneumonia at one point in there. And so I stopped doing this book for exercise and I started using my Coco Daisy notebook because I had this stacked weekly that I wasn't using. So I'm using this now for exercise. And that works out really well because I do my evening prayers, but I wasn't really recording that I had done them. And I so enjoyed the benefits of writing an affirmation in a prayerful way every morning. And I was really hearing answers to those prayers in such a lovely way that I have now written a different one to write at night. Now, this is, I also changed this with each new moon and full moon, but I really enjoy writing this in her book each day. And it's a way for me to see that I did do my evening prayers, but I'm also, really working on improving in this area of my life. This particular one that I was using until Friday was, Dear God, thank you for healing the parts of me that feel defective and not good enough to publish my thoughts and have my business become successful. Now, starting on Friday, I have a new one. Dear God, I'm grateful for the increased awareness of times that I push against what I do not want with resistance, instead of perseverance for what I do want. Persevering for what I do want. And I started that yesterday. And then tonight I will do my evening prayer and I will record it in here. When I get down here to this beautiful flower, I'll just write around it. It'll still be there for me to see. I love this practice. So in the end of the year, the only things I plan to keep for future reference, of course, I think my journal will take me more than a year to fill, but I can have a record of my weekly reviews and also my statistics for both my wellness and for my productivity. And I'll have these that I can keep and review and look back on and so forth. And when it's time, I can recycle them. They're all perfectly able to be recycled. I will recycle these. It's not hard to do. And once I take it off this is metal. I just take it off the metal and I recycle it. And the metal can be recycled into metal recycling. So I will discard these at the end of the year. There won't be a reason to keep them because any progress that I make on my projects that I'm doing is recorded in my productivity book. So I won't need this because this is just a daily record of what I did that day. It's not a long, detailed list of what I need to do for the projects. Frankly, I don't have that. I write them each month. I write the detailed list of what I want to get done that month. And then at the beginning of the next month, I write the next set. I don't create them all at the beginning of a quarter because it's just too heavy. It's too detailed. It doesn't work for me. And I'm constantly making sure that I'm following my theme of the year, my intentions for the year, and I'm planning according to my energy. One of my favorite YouTubers is Katie, whose channel is, I think it's Katie. I think she uses her name in the title of her channel, and it's planning my energy. She also has chronic health problems. My chronic health issues are that I can't do things as fast as other people because I'm dyslexic and I have vision issues. And also, I have very serious burnout, and my energy just is not what it was before I retired from working at the prison. I was exhausted on every level. And frankly, my doctor was encouraging me to retire. I had a doctor up north specifically who said this to me. She said, "You could try to work till you're 65, but you won't live that long if you keep working at the prison." My current doctor was just happy that I was retiring. He wasn't really trying to encourage me to do it. But the one up north was really, really eye opening. She really opened my eyes to the fact that the job was taking too much out of me and it was destructive to me. And I'm very happy to have retired. I'm very happy to have my mental health practice. Just a reminder to anybody watching this still at this point, my mental health practice is only through an agency that I contract with. I only bill commercial insurance, not Medicaid or Medicare. I don't accept private pay for mental health therapy. And you have to not only be a resident of Michigan, you have to physically be present in the state of Michigan in order for me to do mental health therapy. I do have a spiritual counseling business where I use my psychic skills in a life coaching environment that is not mental health therapy. And I take only self-pay, and you cannot bill insurance for it, even if you wanted to. I can't even give you a super bill for that because it's not mental health therapy. And I can see anybody anywhere in the world because I am an ordained independent spiritualist church minister, which gives me the credential to use spiritual counseling with anyone. So I have almost all of my time, my productive time is actually with clients. I am writing. My romance novel is at a developmental editor. I intend to eventually publish that, but I'm no longer writing fiction. I'm taking maybe a permanent break from it because I would like to focus on writing nonfiction. And I have started a blog and I'm starting a podcast. Plus, I have the spiritual YouTube channel. This is my more entrepreneur author spiritual channel, more personal blog kind of thing. And that other channel has more spiritual content to it. If you're interested, the link is in the description box. And there's also a link to my website. And I would encourage you to think about signing up for my Substack, if nothing else, to support me. But I will be putting blog entries that are spiritual content over there. If you're interested in a spiritualist approach to personal growth or to self-improvement, is using spirituality to make your life better. So I'm going to be having some content over there about how to cope with shame, content about not trying to control the uncontrollable. Those are some examples. I will talk about aura healing, chakra healing, things that you can do to help yourself be grounded and so forth. My YouTube channel has some really good follow along visualizations to help you heal aspects of your energy system. And I'd encourage you to take a look at it. So hopefully, I will be chatting with you in the comments, and you'll check out my Substack and check out my other channel and go over and say hi to Katie from Planning My Energy. She'll appreciate that. And I will talk to you again soon. Thank you, friends, for coming by. Bye-bye.